What's going on, Cody? This is Faithy, and as the title suggests, I will be doing a huge Coastio 4 spoiler-ridden interview, fully translated by Juan. I was working on my Mixer account with my graphic designer, getting some stuff done, making the final touches for my streams. But what did you guys hit me up on my last video, telling me, hey, Faithy, come and talk about the new information that Juan just released. You know, here Juan just released a huge interview of basically Kano talking about the game, Coastio 4, the future Coastio 4, and basically his opinions of the game. I was planning to do this video for tomorrow, but hey, if one of you guys already requested for me to do this video, I must well sit down and do it before I keep working on whatever I want to work on. So hey man, I picked up about 20 questions for me to go over with you guys. So without further ado, let's go on with it. So it says here, why was the true ending route unlocked after having watched the normal ending? And Kondo says here, you experience a different sentiment when watching the true ending after the normal ending than watching the true ending straight away. We made it this way since we thought it could be more moving towards the final ending after having seen the normal ending once. By the way, the development team first submitted a proposal to make the true ending inaccessible unless all quests were completed. Oh my god. There were players who didn't get that far, so for Coastio 4, we made the connection so that everyone could watch the true ending. Thank God, man. It reminded that you had to do every single side quest, and including the hidden ones. I don't think not that many people would have gotten the true ending. Everyone was just going to YouTube, just look it up, the true ending. Because man, doing every side quest on the Kiseki, we're talking about hundreds of hours, just doing all the side quests. Alright, so the second question that I picked up for you guys says, Ishmelga has been revealed as a source for many incidents in Erebonia. Please share how Ishmelga came into existence. Originally, the Divine Knight were the singular Sept-Terrion of steel, which was split in 7 in an attempt to control it. However, doing so only postponed the problem. The very system of the Divine Knight itself was unstable, so I think Ishmelga awakened to bad faith in one of the power semi-fragments. We kinda already know this, so let's move on. Let's move on from that one. Why did Ishmelga continue to climb to Dreichels' souls? Actually, this is a good question right here. That's related to Dreichels' outstanding ritual and sense of humanity first and foremost. Basically, a Divine Knight can't move without an Awakener. So Ishmelga continued to seek an Awakener for over 1,000 years. In the end, it happened to meet Dreichels, whose soul quality was high enough to satisfy its demands. So you guys know, the Divine Knights sort of picked their own, who's going to be the Awakener. And Ishmelga waited thousands of years basically for the reincarnation of Dreichels, basically, which is really insane when you think about it. Alright, so moving to the next one, it says here, Osborne is the reincarnation of Dreichels. This kind of phenomenon happening elsewhere in Zemuria as well. Who reincarnates as Horn isn't precise yet. If some kind of error occurs once the soul returns to the goddess, the phenomenon known as reincarnation might occur. However, it's not like reincarnation happens frequently in Zemuria, so there could be other reincarnation that we might not be aware of that could be important in the story. So just keep that in mind for future Kiseki games as we come forward from here. It says here for number 5, is Rean ogre's power also related to Ishmelga? It says here, it's fundamentally entwined with Ishmelga. When Rean's family home was attacked, Osborne borrowed Ishmelga's strength to transfer his heart into Rean. On that moment, the factor of Ishmelga served as intermediary and took root within Rean. In addition, it combined with the latent potential that already existed in Rean and gave rise to the ogre power. McBurn previously described Rean's situation as being mixed, but this does not mean that he is mixed with the power of the Divergent Laws. This is something that we saw in basically on Coastio 4 when Rean finds out that he basically has Osborne's heart. And Osborne had the only way to save Rean for the accident was basically to transplant his heart to Rean, basically. So now moving on to the 6th question here, it says, children affected by the curse seem to become aggressive. This is actually a funny answer. He says here, that seems to be one of the conditions of the Legend of Heroes series. The idea is that we don't want to see too many children and animals suffer. Okay, if you guys have been noticing, the Kiseki game has been going in this sort of like PG route to the point where people are not, you don't see a lot of craziness now compared to, I mean, if we compare to what's happening now compared to what we saw in Coastio, in Trust in the Sky, the third, what happened to Ren. it's fucking ridiculous what happened to Rean and what we're seeing now. You know, now the story has become a very lighthearted. You know, you don't see dead people. The war was very non-existent. You don't see people dying. But moving on. It's just very interesting that they don't want to show kids. He said they don't want to show kids being, angry and animal suffering when you think about the Sky the Third. But moving on here, I'm also interested in a subsequent episode of the main character. It says here, fruity arts might touch those parts or present them as side stories. This is actually good. So we might see like a bunch of side story in the future with with a bunch of different characters. So this is gonna be interesting because Trust in the Sky the Third is my favorite Kiseki game, and that game was basically a bunch of side stories. We get to see the backstory of many different characters. So I'm looking forward to something like this. I think the next Kiseki game, which is coming out next year, is going to be something like this. We're going to be seeing a lot of different characters' perspective of what happened during the Costio 4 moment, basically. So, moving on here. Can Cedric, having unexpectedly left an imperial family, safely become an enforcer? This is a good question. That topic also came up among our staff members. I haven't decided yet, but I guess he might become an enforcer? Speaking of which, Cedric was disliked among the players at the time of Costio 3. Yeah, I already seen this on my videos already. But as of Costio 4, he's been largely forgiven. He's been largely forgiven. Now Rufus has been attracting all hate. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of hate comments to Cedric on my Japanese walkthrough of Costio 3. I can't blame them. That end is very crazy. So moving on to the next one. It says here, Rufus owns that to the Arianrhod matter, right? I guess at that scene, stamped her with the words, "It's time for Legends to leave," earning him an unfavorable impression. I'm gonna put that clip on the video right now, guys. You guys can see when the Arianrhod gets basically backstabbed by Rufus. That scene, man, is actually one of the strongest in Costio 4, to be completely honest. It actually shocked me, to be honest. Okay, so moving on to the 10th one here. It says, although the war ended in 2 days, how many Erebonians went to war? How many victims were there? You can't imagine there were no human loss in such a situation. Although they were less than expected, both Erebonia and Koval suffered a great number of deaths. Yeah, this is one of the things that I always criticize Costio. The Costio saga in general, with the war, that we don't really get to see that much of action that happened. We don't get to see that. Most of the stuff that happened is just vaguely in the background, or the people that died are just basically kind of irrelevant to the story, I guess you can say. That's how I feel at the moment about the wars when it comes to this when it comes to the Costio saga, that they don't feel like engaging to the point that someone important is going to die, basically. No one important in any of this war have died or has been severely injured, as far as I'm aware. So moving on here, it says here, was the name Alberich inherited from the first chief of the Gnomes? Oh, this is actually a good question as well. It says here, Alberich is a spirit life form. A spirit life form like existence, possessing the finest descendant among the Gnomes for generations. It's not the thing that is inherited, but Alberich very existence. So basically, Alberich is another, I guess that you can say, is another entity that kind of like comes back from the past to the present, basically. Kind of like Dreichels, basically. Think of it like a Dreichels, but the known descendant, I guess you can say. Moving on here, it says here, Franz and George are the only known making their appearance, but are there others? It's not mentioned, but there might be. It would be rather impossible to run that kind of facility with just 2 of them. So I have a feeling that NPC that we have seen before maybe could be instead of Anno or Chosen in the Sky. We might already have met Gnomes, but we just do not know them because they haven't identified as Gnomes. So this is actually not impressive. That's gonna be all they know review in the future. So looking forward to this. There's gonna be a lot. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of NPC that already know that are known. So looking forward to this in the future Kiseki games. From Arianrhod revival to the prevention of Cedric's death from emaciation, the link between Divine Knight and Awakener has a number of effects, has it? Kondo says here, the Divine Knight closes a temporary contract with the person they want to be their Awakener. This mechanism blesses the potential awakener with divine protection and keeps them from dying. The reason Cedric did not die from emaciation is because of his temporality registration. I don't know how I feel about this answer, to be completely honest with you, due to the fact that if you guys think about, I mean, Cedric didn't really never die for him to become an awakener, like Crow or Osborne or Arianrhod, you know, that basically the Divine Knight will keep them alive. So I'll take this answer. I'll take this answer since Cedric did become a Divine Knight, I believe, after Rean. So he's kind of like one of the last Awakener. Actually, I think I might be wrong on that. I think Rufus was the last one that became the Awakener, but I don't know the timeline of that, or who was the last person that became an Awakener. I unfortunately do not have the timeline if it was Cedric or Rufus, because for all we know, Rufus was an Awakener all this time. But I think it goes to a 4 when we encountered the forest. I believe that's when Rufus became the Awakener, if I'm not mistaken. But I might have the timeline messed up. But what we know here, it says here, it's been confirmed that the continent of Zemuria is surrounded by sea areas and airspaces that can be reached no matter what. This is actually a good question. The concept of an atmosphere has been recognized by physics and nature physics. However, I can't reveal whether this world is shaped like a spear. Some might say the world somehow has an edge, or that the collapse starts from the end of the world. For now, we keep those allusions as that. What will happen and what form the world will assume will be part of the next game. So basically, if you guys saw my translation of, I don't know which sub video that I did that talk about this concept. If I'm not mistaken, it's with McBurn. The McBurn fight is the fight with McBurn, the last one that I translated. I'm gonna put the notation here, and I'm gonna leave also the link in the doobly doo. Basically, we talk about how the world basically is kind of like, if you try to like get out of the Zemuria continent, like in the sea, you kind of like turn back. Basically, you cannot leave the Zemuria territory. Basically, there's a loop system. Basically, like I said, I already make a translation of this. So if you guys wanna see, wanna like understand what I'm talking about, click on the annotation or go to the doobly doo below to the sub video of McBurn that I did. It explains further what I mean with this. So moving on here, it says the system of Divergent Laws was also revealed. That's the only thing you really know for now. McBurn mentioned several things, but it's not even clearly stated whether the world he was in got destroyed. Yes, this is also something that was revealed during the fight on McBurn, the last fight. McBurn was specifically saying that he was being tricked and that his homeland or his home world was destroyed, and like I guess destroyed by component or something. He was basically manipulated. That's basically the gist of what happened with McBurn. So we kind of already know this already. So moving on here, it says here, speaking of mystery, is Barry related to Divergent Laws? And this is what Kondo said. Why is she even in the first place? So you guys know Barry. I'm gonna show you guys a video of her here real quick on my playthrough of Coastio 4. Barry is just one of those characters that we do not know what exactly she is. We do not know what her deal is. Yeah, there's a whole mystery with her of her being actually the Grandmaster. Like she could probably be the Grandmaster for all we know. You know, this is her student or human form, and she transformed basically to the white, big grown or white-haired woman that we know. We don't know. Barry knows a lot. We know that Barry knows a lot about the world, but she doesn't reveal much, you know. So there's a whole mystery about Barry. Leave in the comment section your theory or who you think Barry is. Leave it on the comment section below. So moving on, we're almost done here. We're in the 16 right now. Question that I picked. It says here, was it a human form Zemuria that McBurn got merged with, or did he merge with a human named McBurn in this world? Good question. McBurn's body is that of a human from Zemuria. However, it is unclear whether that person was named McBurn. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Does the great compatibility between McBurn and Angbar actually come from the fact that they're both from Divergent Laws? That is what the Grandmaster prepared for McBurn. It's not the sword McBurn originally had. And of course, the current beater was the sword that Louis had, and they're basically not related at all. I want to mention that as well real quick. It was sword prepared for him. So the sword that McBurn had and Louis had, they're like not related at all. And basically, that was a sword that Grandmaster made specifically for them. So that's a little bit of a lore there, so you guys know. It says here, It said McBurn married 50 years prior, putting this in the same period as the Orbal Revolution. It says here, 50 years prior is an important keyword. If you try to look into what happened around that time, you might discover something interesting. Okay, so McBurn basically came to Zemuria around the time of the Orbal Revolution. I don't know what there is to it more than that, but I'm gonna leave it there for that question. I'm gonna leave it there since I really cannot think much of the answer. But there you go. The aim of Ouroboros was revealed to be the observation of the Sept-Terrion, with their stance be the same for the Eternal Recurrence Plan. There's no doubt they'll move the same way in the future. Okay, and then they says here, considering the meaning of their aim as observers, what would you say that the action of Weissmann and Trolls in the Sky were irregular? Trolls in the Sky gave us the impression that their goal was to retrieve the Sept-Terrion, so we chose from zero to a shore. Many were surprised to find them not caring about the treasure disappearance. I mean, I know that when they lost one of them, they tried to recreate it back. But anyway, it says here, based on what we can surmise, that Weissmann's behavior was indeed irregular. The assistant as the society is basically observing the Sept-Terrion, and it was revealed that the Anguish and Enforcer are also observing. So, I was thinking of the plot of Naruto, you know, when the Akatsuki was trying to collect the Shinchuri keys. I feel like that's the same plot that was going on with the Ouroboros. You know, they were trying to collect the Sept-Terrion, but they're kind of like observing it as well, because I'm pretty sure Campanella took the Sept-Terrion that Weissmann had, because he got killed by Calvin in the end of second chapter in Trolls in the Sky. So they're kind of doing both. They're kind of collecting it and observing it as well. So they're kind of doing both, in my opinion. But moving on here, it says, the Grandmaster is really unfoundable. Everything about the Grandmaster has been said in the game. However, instead that she's differs from the Zemuria laws generally discussed in the games. Okay. By the way, who is the Grandmaster voice actor? This is why it says, each time we cast someone different so that the Grandmaster can't be identified. I had no idea why they're trying to keep the voice actor a mystery. I don't know why they're trying to keep her a mystery, the voice actor specifically, but hey, it is what it is. Moving on, he says, regarding Campanella's sex, the game feature a scene that maybe that had me think he was a woman. I haven't even thought about this. You think about it, Wesley was pretty much the same. Nah, I kind of want to say that Wesley to me always looked like a guy, you know, to be perfectly honest. But definitely Campanella looked like, if you guys play Trolls in the Sky, the second chapter, I think that's when you see Campanella for the first time. Campanella always looked like ambiguous character, you know. It's kind of like male, it could be a woman or man to me, Campanella. In Cold Steel 3 and in Cold Steel 4, once you can see like the better graphics, he does kind of look like a guy in the body physical appearance. But I feel like in the Trolls in the Sky, he did have that look of being of a ambiguous character, you know, that you cannot tell exactly the gender. But that's just my opinion. So moving on here to the 23rd question. What surprised me about the church is that even the priests in Erebonia were aware of the cursed existence. What kind of organization it is in the first year hasn't been completely revealed. I think we had to depict it more properly in the future than I was done in the third so far. So yeah, basically the church already knew about the existence of the curse and basically how the world basically is in the loop system where you cannot get out. This is actually good because frankly enough and funny enough, the church is one of the best thing about the Kiseki that most interests me about lore-wise, how the church functions, you know, with the Dominion and the hopes and stuff like that. So hopefully Kondo expands more on the church, because we still don't even know. We still haven't seen well, we have seen her the first Dominion, but more like we just do not know too much about the Dominion specifically. You know, we know about Kevin, of course, we know about Gaia since he's recently become a Dominion, but I feel like the story, the part of the story needs to be expanded more. So that's actually a good one. Looking forward to that. Wesley had Scarlet become his squared, and I'm curious as to who will become Gaia squared. In that sense, now Rean has become a Divine Blade, he's also able to take on Disciple. So I have a feeling that Kondo's gonna give, someone's gonna be Rean's Disciple, the Disciple for the next Kiseki game. We're gonna see who it is. The question is, what Divine Blade he'll become. It's not Ashen anymore. Oh, so it's not gonna be the Ashen Chevalier or the Ashen Divine Blade or whatever. that's gonna be interesting what name he's gonna be taking for the Divine Blade. You know, usually there's a title that usually go like the Divine Wind. Cassius has the Divine Blade. He doesn't have any sword name for that. And Rean will become Divine Blade something. So there you go. Oh, this is actually one of the most important questions that I want to talk about, guys, real deep. So he says here, has there been a chance in characters' popularity since Cold Steel 4 release date? Oh, I guess I should say release. I feel that Athena, who was at the top last time, is popular this time as well. Rean and Crow are also popular. Osborne share also increasing to those who saw the true ending. They think Osborne was a good father after all. Why this is so let me explain why this is very important, the popularity polls. So you guys know the popularity poll is very important, not just in the Kiseki game overall, but I feel like in the culture of Japan it's also very important. If we look at the entertainment side of the animes and mangas, what kept those mangas alive are basically the rankings of popularity. Now, if we look at the popularity of the Kiseki that's been going on so far, the last popularity poll that they did, I made a video of it, and the last top three, I'm gonna tell you the top three right now, was Rean being the first one, Crow being the second, and Altina being the third. Funny enough, Altina beat Alisa on the popularity poll, and if you guys have been paying attention to the promotion they've been doing of these promos, Altina always shows on posters now. Like, I'm gonna show you guys the newest poster that when they show the new characters that are gonna be the protagonist for the 2020. I'm not sure they're gonna be the protagonist for the next Kiseki that's coming out for the next year. But basically, you can see Altina on the poster. Like, Altina now, even though they were pushing Alisa a lot since Cold Steel 1, you know, in all the promos, in DLCs, in magazines, Altina still is the most popular character out of Alisa. Usually Alisa was supposed to be the most popular, the character that turned out to promote more as a female heroine, but Altina kind of took the spotlight with Cold Steel 3 and Cold Steel 4, so I'm kind of surprised that Altina, with barely no promotion at all, became more popular than Alisa. So it's kind of interesting how the influence of this popularity poll are kind of changing the whole marketing thing with the marketing of Falcom. Instead of pushing Alisa a lot now, Falcom, what they're gonna be doing is pushing Athena more. I feel like Athena now is gonna have a bigger role in the Hokiseki in general because she's popular. Popular guys sells. If you guys look at the anime industry, the manga industry, they always be looking at popularity polls. Who is the most popular character? And, whoever is the popular, they're going to be making merch of that. And voila, that's how they make money. Popularity polls means a lot in Japan. If you guys haven't noticed, in their culture, in their business, it means a lot. So, there you go. I just want to touch on that because I feel like this is a very important question that people don't realize just how important popularity poll is in Japan. But let me do one more question, which is the bonding events. I want to talk about bonding events real quick here. So, it says here, a bonding event actually the hardest to make. This time bonding events were also substantial. Bonding events are the easiest for gathering opinions of fans, of course, because they're all basically fan services. Let's be real here. However, bonding events are also the ones that make the development staff complain the most, especially when it involves a lot of special animations. When I mentioned the next title, the first thing they asked was whether it would involve bonding events again. But as fans do enjoy them, I think they're okay with it. And one of the biggest criticisms that I gave to this game when I finished Cold Steel 4 was the bonding events, right? The bonding events of Cold Steel 4 were basically herring full stop. They were just basically herring. There wasn't anything really substantial that I really got out of the bonding event. The bonding event was just basically full fan service. What they need to do is, and this is something that I've been saying it for a long time, they need to take the concept of Tokusanado. For those that haven't played Tokusanado is another game of Falcom that they did. It was more of like a test of a game, and the game also has a bonding event system. But the biggest difference between the bonding event of Tokusanado and Cold Steel is that in Tokusanado, the bonding event was basically between students. It wasn't just the main character, and it wasn't just with the main character. It was basically between students. Think a bonding event between Gaius and Laura, or Marcus and Alisa, or Fee with Alisa. You know, it was like that kind of a bonding event. That is something that I can give a lot of credit to when it comes to Tokyo Sanado, that the bonding event felt very genuine. It did not feel like a bonding event thing. So I really do feel like they need to take that system of Tokyo Sanado X and plug it in to the next Kiseki game they're going to be doing, because the bonding event always been with Rean, it just gets boring, man. It gets boring to the point where it doesn't even matter if it's like Kevin. Let's say Kevin. Kevin's like one of my favorite characters in the Kiseki series, right? Kevin, for Tears in the Sky in the Third. I would get bored if every bonding game was with him, even though it's an interesting character to me to see, and and see him interact. I would love to see characters interact with one another. Instead of being all Rean, they should have Laura with Alisa with Fee, and so forth. That will make me see the character in a different environment, in a different dynamic. But that's just my opinion, guys. Alright, guys, this is basically a short breakdown of the review that Guan did. A huge shout out to Guan. I'm gonna leave his Twitter and the article in the doobly doo below, so you guys go see it. I do highly recommend that you go to Twitter and say thank you to Guan about this. Tell them that Faithy sent you, and you thank them for for this, because he been working on this for a long time. It's a huge article, guys. I highly do suggest that you go and read it. I decided to pick up this like 25 questions or so, and break it down here for you guys. The 25 that I thought was really useful here for me to talk about, and break it down here and talk with you guys here. So tomorrow I have another Kiseki video on the works. And by the way, guys, one last thing, I'm streaming on my Mr. account tomorrow as well. Make sure that you come and follow it. I'm gonna pin the comment here on the comment section below. They call me Faithy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry for making this too long, but it was a good, it was a good review. There was a lot of good questions here that I was able to talk about, and new material to talk about, because we're just thirsting for news about Kiseki. But I do have one more video for tomorrow about Kiseki related, and what was it? Kiseki related and J9 Monstro Nox. I'm also gonna be talking about Monstro Nox one more time before warming up with the next video. So, alright, guys, thank you all for watching. They call me Faithy. I see you guys on the next one. Alright, catch ya.